All right. Well, welcome, Mike. Thank you so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate it. One of the things that I think the industry has not done a great job in is in program management. And you're an expert in that. You've done program management for many, many years. Well, you know what, Mike? Just kick it off. Give us an introduction. Tell us your background, tell us your experiences. We'll go from there.
Yeah, my background in project and program management actually goes back 46 years. I taught for 5 years business at a university and college level. And then I felt like the Pope teaching sex education in business. You have to apply business to know business.
Yeah.
So I got into telecommunications, and the first real project environment I got into was in 1979. Whenever I sold a phone system, I had the Maryland, DC, Virginia territory for R&D firms and engineering firms for
Wow.
AT&T. And, if I sold a 10,000, 20,000 user system, there were all kinds of line connections. It wasn't called a project meeting back in the day. It was called a cutover meeting. And there were so many permutations and combinations that had to happen for good dial tone. And because everybody back then thought dial tone came from heaven. We didn't have voice over IP.
Yeah.
5 nines was expected. Bill, you remember that?
Yeah,
You're a gray-haired, no-haired like
I
me.
am, yeah.
And so you couldn't be wrong. So I was baptized by fire immediately from the academic world, thrown into that environment. I left teaching. As I said, I got into AT&T. I was a pioneer in video. I was told I was the first to ever sell video successfully. Bell Labs invented video and had a picture phone meeting service in the NFL cities with rooms, and nobody showed up. So we actually had the technology to do point to multi-point meetings called picture phone meeting service. Nobody showed up. I developed a recruitment application to pack those rooms and sell video. So I cut my teeth in business value as a pioneer with video. And that was in the 1980s.
That's amazing.
But Bill, back then, I think it was a Gartner piece in the early 80s that said 2/3 of projects fail.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
46 years have gone by, or 45, and I'm still hearing that. Everything around me has improved. We don't have people taking voice messages on pink slips.
Yeah.
As you know, everything is improved. I went from AT&T to Cisco. I was in Silicon Valley working on the diversification from commercial to service providers. When the telecom started using voice over IP, I was a partner at Ernst & Young in the change practice, got introduced to risk management, change management, organizational change management. Then I went back to my roots with Bellcore, which was a Bell Labs spinoff.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft, where I met you and other good people. So I've been around mostly as the oddball, being the business excellence person with a bunch of brilliant technical people. So I was the oddball and I was the business person with the brilliant technical.
Yeah, that's great. What a history, what a past, right? And think about all the history and all the past you had. And I was just on a call, and what we were talking about is how AI is going to take over a lot of these things. And sadly, there may be scenarios where people can't gain the same level of history that you have, because that stuff's done now. We're in a new normal, and as people are into their 20s and late 20s and 30s, and they're starting their PMO and their project management careers, AI is going at this rapid rate. And then with it, how do people adjust? How do people get their early starts when, frankly, some companies, if they're doing it right with agents, they don't need them. They need the experts. They need the people that have 30, 40 years experience, because the younger people won't do that. So that's a really interesting time that we're in. Now, one of the things that you just said and you just keyed off is the 2/3 of projects fail. Let's start with the first question right off the bat. And we talked about, and we've heard some statistics, but is it true that 70% of transformation programs fail? 70%?
Well, you've got to watch all these sound bites
Yeah.
that supposed luminaries are throwing around. As you know, your great community about the Golden Triangle,
Yeah.
they partially fail, is what I've seen. Number
Yeah.
one. First
Okay.
of all, transformation is a loaded word.
Right.
There's a lot of voodoo thinking that the business schools teach. Let me give you an example. I've been involved in several transformations, quote, end quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the C-suite wants a transformation. They assign it to somebody who goes to them with a business case with 10x ROI in a very compressed time frame. Then they get into the project and they say, oh my God, this is harder than I ever imagined. And a year later, this is almost impossible.
Yeah.
And they downgrade the 10x ROI transformation to we suck less.
Yeah.
Comparing ourselves to ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, does that sound familiar, Bill?
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
yeah.
We suck less. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but usually they do improve. So when you say 70% fail, yeah, because the business cases were fiction to begin with.
I see. Yeah.
Then you have a weird thing that's been going on for 40 years. You have the program team seeing the C-suite as a black box, and the C-suite seeing the program team as a black box.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the worst thing that I've seen that almost guarantees failure is if the C-suite has a command and control culture and doesn't even solicit the program's team's input on feasibility about schedule and all of that.
Yeah, because they just want to we're transforming, we have to transform. That's the buzzword. We're doing it. I've written some ebooks and I have some videos and a lot of comments on this transformation. And what I have always said this thing is, and you're right, like you're 100% right, it's a loaded word. But what I've always said was, it's around taking our manual processes and digitizing them. And that is the most basic level of transformation. And we often don't get that right. We struggle with that. But think about that level of, hey, I got this manual process. Can we automate this? Can we? And even that sort of thing fails in a lot of cases. So you're right. Like it's a big loaded word. And fail is also a loaded word. So when you put those together, but they're great sound bites. They're great gardener bites. They're great they're great bites that these consulting companies put out there because you have to fix, but yet they fail. Because why? Why do they fail? Right? I feel like a lot of the reasons why they fail is the culture. The culture of a company doesn't accept the transformation. What do you think?
Well, combine that culture with command and control versus servant leadership. I a lot of leaders I run into view servant leadership as kind of Mr. Rogers soft touch.
Yeah.
Servant leadership is an information system where you respect your people and they are walking sensors to the state of the culture and the state of the program. If you impose, I had a leader once, not too long ago, say one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was, we don't want to do risk management because it's programming to fail. They actually believe because they were command and control, mirror, mirror on the wall to their program team. They actually believe that happy path happened all the time.
Wow.
I don't know about you or our members. I've never seen happy path happen.
No, not at all. That's funny. Okay, so one of the other things that we talk about with failure is we talk about costs and we talk about budgets and we talk about that. So what are the total costs associated from your perspective with program failures?
That's a great question, and the costs are usually minimized. If we look at a comprehensive view of costs, first of all, programs are usually the tip of the hour of innovation. You fail in the program, you fail in the innovation. Mm-hmm. So that you have a strategic failure there. A lot of times I've been in programs where I got in trouble for just speaking up respectfully because the schedule was batshit crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about being 6 months off. I'm talking about being 4 years off.
Yeah. Wow.
So we're talking massive cost overruns, quality. Then it destroys the culture. People think that we don't want another program because a program of the week, it will fail. Mm-hmm. So you have the hard dollar, the soft dollar, the strategy failure, the long-term ability for the culture to adapt. And then I've seen broken careers that with scapegoating from the program teams and program managers with serious, interpersonal problems, serious damage there. So there's some of the broad-based costs.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, right? So there's a lot of us, so like when you say costs, there's a lot of things that you don't factor in. We often think over budget, under budget. We also think that monetary value, but no, there's a lot of other costs that are based in the word cost that we don't think about. We ruin careers. We ruin people's their mental. There's a mental anguish. There's a career thing. And people don't think that way. They think,
and the other thing we do is we destroy the long-term capacity to change. You talked about culture, Bill.
Yeah.
If this is done right, you build in every individual more and more of the capacity to change. This burns their future in terms of the capacity to adapt and have the elephant tap dance,
Yeah. And that's the thing. People have to be rooted in change. They have to adapt change. They always have to be thinking, I'm always thinking 2-3 steps ahead. And so when change happens, it's like, okay, I was expecting that. Now what happens? If I'm already 2-3 steps ahead, but when you get into the mindset of not adopting change, it does put you in a box, and these kind of failures really impact you, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's a touchy balance there, but it's one that you do have to think of, that change mindset, right? So one of the things that we kind of touched upon briefly was, what do you think some of the root causes? You talked about servant leadership, and what are some of the root causes of this high failure rate of programs?
Well, as I said, command and control is the mortal. That is the mortal sin.
Yeah.
And then that's the mortal sin of the C-suite. Okay. There's other mortal sins. Sponsors that don't do their job in the C-suite. They don't devote the time to learn and understand the program. They don't devote the time to do their role of championship and break down barriers for the program team. The program team, a lot of the failures there have been supplicant behavior. Program managers, particularly in command and control environments, have to, in many cases, put their job on the line. I was in a Six Sigma group, and I like the statistical rigor of a Six Sigma thinking.
Yeah. Right.
But they had the mistaken notion that confirmation bias doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And that if the program team could go to the senior leader with data, that would win the day every time.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, that there are cases where the confirmation bias kicks in and they want statistics to confirm what they already know. So the program team can actually overemphasize data. The program team's sin is really situational unawareness. Okay, being robotically into checklists, reporting, watermelon reporting, where it's green on the outside but red on the inside, but they don't have the fortitude to turn those greens into at least yellows. Challenging executives' assumptions in a respectful, intelligent manner. That doesn't always work. I've been kicked out of meetings in half the cases because there are narcissists.
Yeah.
So the rule of thumb I always used was really do your homework and come up with what stretch goals are. I love stretch goals because we're not running a childhood nursery in business, but never commit to batshit crazy goals. Never.
Yeah.
Stretch goals, yay. And I've seen program teams just roll over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time before they lose their jobs and become scapegoats.
Yeah. So I want to touch upon that a little bit because I absolutely love that point. And when you think about program management, you think about project management, you think about the art and science, right? Art is the relationships and the touchy-feely stuff and the influence without authority and all that stuff. And science is do your schedule, do your risk log, do your issue log at the highest level, right?
Exactly.
What you're basically saying there is they, on the art side, they are not acting as the true middleman informer of the reality of where we are in this project or program. And therefore, they don't want to put their necks out because they don't want to really tell what's going on, right?
Exactly.
And therefore, they'll hide it. They'll watermelon it. They'll say, yeah, we're all green. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we're all green. We'll figure it out. Now, I have also worked in an environment where we have had a CIO give us time every week. And that CIO is amazing. And he will say, okay, you got a red project? Tell me about it. How can I help you? What can I do to move your rocks? Right? And when you do that, and again, I'm going back to culture. When you do that, and this top level guy of the whole organization says, how can I help? Your program and project managers take a very different approach because they'll go, I can get in front of the CIO, the top level guy, and he or she will move our bar for us. So it comes down to, I love your point because on the average company, a program project manager doesn't want to stick their neck out. But when you get a CIO who will actually provide you support, it's an amazing environment because it radically shifts how programs and projects are executed. Have you ever seen that?
Bill, I have seen it. It's wonderful. And you just described perfectly what a servant leader does.
Yeah.
You just nailed it.
Yeah. And it's incredible.
I'm here not for the blame game. The rule is blame the process first, not the individual. Now, if there's screw ups all the time, you get to the individual. And how can I break down barriers? That's a true sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you've seen this for the developers in your audience. I can always tell if we got innovation going. There's a buzz on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
And
yeah.
When you get a sponsor like that on a program management for a technical or non-technical project, there's a buzz.
Yeah.
There's innovation. There's ownership of those results. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, so it is true that there are some places that are operating under a different scenario. But why I say that, right? Because it's so important to give hope. It's so important for programs and project managers out there and PMO leaders to say, you know what? Not every company operates like this. There are some CIOs that get it and that will give you the coverage that you need to execute your programs or your projects in a manner, right? Like they'll give you that coverage, which is incredible, right? So there is that balance. There is very good and there's very bad. And we often see swings, like we see companies it's really bad or we see this goodness, right? So there is that side of it as well. So it's exciting. So I know we just kind of said it, but what behaviors or what do you think senior leaders should exhibit, right, that really help with program success?
Well, you just described it for sponsors.
Yeah.
I would add champion as another one.
Yeah.
Particularly around quick wins, because quick wins give hope to the senior leaders and the program team. And championing and evangelism is public. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very important oil can.
Yeah.
To reduce friction and time to solution for a program team. That's one that I would add. The other one, and you know this better than anybody, is humility. Mm-hmm. If they project humility, then that creates a culture of experimentation and fail fast. But you're not a failure. That's all part of that equation as well.
Yeah, that's a very big cultural shift as well, right? Agile's been around, we're 2025. Agile's been around for 25 years, right? And that fail fast culture that Agile has tried to bring in, for example, in the IT world, and not all or everyone's in IT, but the general consensus is fail fast, get the team together, redo it, get something out again, blah, 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 right? That concept is awesome. That's an Agile concept. It's awesome. All credit to Agile. But the cultures of these companies have not embraced that at the 25 years later. They're still slowly embracing that. So if we can get there, it's incredible because people see stuff. They can touch it. They can go, I like blue, not red. They can touch it. They can just kind of see it. But we got to change the culture more. We got to change the environment more, right? To be able to say, we can do this fail fast. Fail fast is not a failure. It's just a step, right? What's Einstein said, it took him 100,000 chances to make the light bulb or something. He failed 1,000 times, and on 1,001 or something, he got a light bulb. So that's the concept, though. But think about that. Changing the culture is the root of that.
Yeah. Now, Agile. I've never seen the Agile manifesto implemented. I've seen a lot of iterative development and leaving the monastery in a good way. Mm-hmm. And Agile's had a good effect on leaving the monastery and iterating. Mm-hmm. But that full democratization of development, I haven't seen anywhere. And I think we should learn from Agile in the business excellence disciplines.
Yeah.
Our article that we just published, you and I.
Yeah.
Finally, the C-suites learned that 70% of transformations fail. After 50 years.
Yeah.
So what is going on? They're blaming the business excellence discipline. I challenge you and your community to just do a search on organizational change management is dead. Risk management is dead. Project management is dead. Even product management is dead. You'll come up with luminaries with sound bites espousing that they're all dead. Now, what they're really saying when you research it, they're not dead.
No.
As they were practiced in a waterfall manner, they're dead. All those business excellence disciplines need an agile way of delivering, particularly with AI.
Yeah.
And you always need a hybrid between agile and reporting, because you can have all that distributed agile goodness, but the boardroom's still going to want to know, where are we? What's the cost to date? What's the percent complete? What are the risks for the risk committee? So you always need a hybrid. But our discipline on the business excellence, non-technical, we've got to get more agile and more hybrid for adaptability.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're saying it specifically industry by industry, though, right? Because you think about construction, predictive/waterfall is not dead. Manufacturing, it's not dead, right? There's only, you can only heat that piece of steel at Boeing in the oven for 20 minutes exactly at that temperature to mold the frame or mold the wing or whatever, right? So I think you're right.
Amen, brother. When I was with that Six Sigma group, the one area I always gave them, particularly, was manufacturing. You do need statistical process control for aircraft engines. Okay. Now, where I had problems culturally with the Six Sigma people is I called it using a chainsaw to cut butter. They would apply statistical process control to a group of 5 white-collar workers. We're lean. And I'd say, there are cases where you don't have to send the lab. If you have an arterial wound, you put a tourniquet on it. You don't send it to the lab for blood analysis. So you got to know where statistical rigor fits. And you just named where you see statistical rigor, you're going to see waterfall intensity.
That's right. Predictive. Predictive waterfall. Okay. So what behaviors do program teams exhibit that undermine program success?
Well, I mentioned the first one, if they're wimpy and don't speak truth to power. Now, that doesn't mean be a bull in a china shop. The program managers that I've seen were extremely successful and went on to bigger and better things were always likably assertive. If you do away from the likability, you're going to lose if you're just assertive. Right. If you're likable and Mr. Rogers and you're not assertive, you're going to lose. So
there's a balance.
The balance there, being likably assertive. I've seen people succeed time and time and again with that formula. So that's really critical. It's also critical that they get their messaging unified, like the ducks flying in formation. It's also important they know who their constituencies are. Their sponsors, their champions, and they all, they have consistent messaging. They have immediate escalation ability within the program team to fix things. They do good risk management. The watermelon greens start with the program team members. So they too have to have critical thinking to do accurate reporting. And they can't just be whiners without solutions. Are bad. So they not only come up with a problem, but they got to be prescriptive. So these are behaviors, that everybody looks for. And a huge one is business value, which is the greatest travesty on earth.
Yes,
because I said in that business case, let's carry the business case where they get the business case and they promise transformational results. They go to we suck less. Well, by the time the program is delivered, people are exasperated. Many times, for anybody that knows American football, many times they're so fatigued they declare victory in the red zone. They just declare victory with minimum viable product.
Yeah.
And they forget that they promise minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the whole delivery thing, minimum viable product is minimal. Business value is not minimum viable product. It's activating users, but to meet the business case, they have to be power users. You can't get by with just awareness training.
Yeah.
The program team's got to have competency training for those users. The technical team can build the best F-15 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have a Top Gun school, it's game over for business value.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to touch upon business value in a sec, but I want to come back to the team members for a sec, because a lot of the things that you were allocating or you were talking about was really around kind of that leader and that leader kind of stepping up and that leader being wimpy. But there's a big onus on the team members providing their statuses and their health of the project and their roadblocks and their things that sometimes can actually hurt a leader of a program if that transparency is not there.
Absolutely.
So I think when you think about the underlying success of a program, it's all for one for all, and everyone is as transparent as possible from a team member perspective.
Absolutely. Right? It's atomistic. Yeah. Watermelons start with those teams in those daily stand-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you're so right. It's at the atom level, the individual level.
Yeah. And you can do daily stand-ups on a predictive project. Like you don't need an agile to do on a waterfall project or a predictive project or on the plant at Boeing. They can pull the guys together where applicable, not 800 guys, but they can go, okay, guys, what are we, rah, what are we going for? What's the target of the month or whatever the case may be, right? There are scenarios where you can pull people together and do a stand-up and build that team and build that openness and build that transparency to allow that one leader to drive that whole team for success. And I think that's a key component.
Absolutely.
The other thing that you had said there was this value, this business value, and that has been around for so many years. We can't seem to get this right. We can put out value and we can say this is a value we're going to deliver, but we often don't think about that value, or if that value takes 2 to 3 years to accomplish, that program team is long gone. So there is still a fundamental industry problem on how we record value, what we do with value, what does value hit, who's accountable for value. There's so much towards this value that still needs to be unpacked all these years.
Yeah.
Right?
Bill, you have hundreds in your community.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen, how many times have you or they seen somebody say, all right, the program's over, we spent $20 million. Let's audit the value.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many times?
Never. Never. Yeah. It doesn't happen. The whole thing gets sold on value. The reason we're doing this is because the value it's going to bring to payroll, to finance, to winning a war, to blah, 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 right? And nope, it's just on to the next one. But it's a fundamental, it's an industry problem. It's not a company problem. It's not a program leader problem. It's an industry problem. And the industry does not seem like they're interested in fixing it.
They get so fatigued.
Yeah.
These programs grind people. They just want to declare victory and move on.
Be done. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But that doesn't help companies as a whole. Companies as a whole need to change their culture to pivot towards value. Absolutely. So where do we see that? What is the one group? Is it the Lean Six Sigma group? Is it what group is really in charge to validate that value? Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen a company knocking it out of the park from a value perspective?
I've seen hundreds. I've never seen knock it out of the park from a value perspective.
Because it's just too immature, right? The overarching process.
But I have seen some good results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't use that transformation word lightly, because to me that's 10x improvement, not 1.5.
Yeah.
So knock it out of the park to me is 10x.
Yeah.
I've seen 3x, 4x.
Yeah.
And the common ingredients in those successes were servant leadership, mature program team, open environment, just the way you described, the excitement with that sponsor that gets it. So,
yeah, I love that. All right, we've covered a lot. I've got one more thing I want to ask you just before we kind of wrap all this up. What in your mind distinguishes healthy programs from others?
A program team that's actually driven not in a straitjacket way, but to their living charter, okay, with managing intermediate deliverables, risk managing, measuring intermediate value, with good alignment with their all their constituencies, their users, the C-suite, and low attrition. We didn't talk about that. Low attrition on the team.
Yeah.
Because one chronic unhealthy problem that I see everywhere is oversubscribing people.
Yeah.
Particularly subject matter experts.
Yeah.
Peanut buttering them across 20 projects.
Yeah.
So that we're on a healthy program is people, again, are slightly subscribed, but not 80, 100-hour weeks regularly with high attrition.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what you're also seeing with that too, which I've been in a place that we've got timesheets. And so we do weekly timesheets. When you see that and you say that 80% or 90% or whatever, a lot of those basis is on no data, right? So that large software company we worked at, they don't do timesheets. They don't do, right? So how do they know what their people are working on? There's no timesheets. They're not logging time. So we are over subscribing people. We are putting 15, 20 projects, whatever, on people, and we're not tracking their time. So you have such a lack of data to tell a story, and we're burning people out, right? And yeah, no one likes timesheets. I totally get it. But the amount of data you get from timesheets to then say what distinguishes a healthy program, you limit how many times they're multitasking a day to be able to focus on a program. Right. And it's fascinating because we see that lots. So I love that point.
Well, they don't really want to know the data.
No, they don't want to know
particularly command and control people. They just want to keep cracking the whip,
get it done,
and expecting results.
Yeah. Even when you have the data, sometimes they don't want to know the data, but at least you have the data.
Confirmation bias. The data's wrong. I've seen that. The data's wrong.
Yeah. All right, Mike, let's wrap it up. Any last words from you?
Yeah. Being the old guy that I am, there was a CEO of Citigroup, John Reed, who I think the Great Recession of 2008, I think he moved out. But he used to say, why do we have brakes on cars? It's not to slow down. It allows us to go faster. And there's going to be a tax on our discipline, project and program management and change management. Like I told you, art, rest in peace luminaries. Do searches. Ask your community. This discipline's dead. They're not dead.
No.
I just challenge us all to come up with agile, adaptive ways of deploying these traditional business excellence disciplines.
Yeah. The only caveat as I wrap up, the only caveat that I have with that is how fast AI is going, how fast these agents are coming, how fast you're going to be able to put massive amounts of program and project management data in front of these agents. And yeah, I don't think the discipline's dead, but I think there's some things chipping away at it that it's going to really, really hurt it. Hurt
But
it to a degree, right? Hurt
yeah,
it to
but
a degree.
if we can adapt, the good project
Yeah,
managers, the
we'll
good
adapt.
the good organizational change risk man, they didn't have a formula. They take best practices here and there for this use
Yeah,
case.
that's right.
That's what I mean. For
Yeah.
the AI, for example, we got to have a whole new governance structure for AI agents,
Yeah.
for virtual agents.
Yeah.
Is that going to come from heaven? No.
Yeah.
That's got to be project managed, but
Yeah.
it's not going to be formulaic. It's going to be more analogous to agile in development. These disciplines have to become more agile and less top down and formulaic.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's a great way to wrap it up. All right, Mike Farabelli, thank you so much. I really appreciated our time, and really appreciate you sharing your background, your experience with us. Thank you all, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.